Hey there, how you doing? How's your morning going? I'll be here with a cup of coffee in my alpaca mug. Now, I don't know if it's alpaca or a llama, but I'm pretty sure it's an alpaca because they're a little shorter. They don't doesn't seem to be spitting anywhere. So, hmm. So let's talk about tools, technology, the wonderment of the modern age, the world as it is, weirdness, and I don't think it's a divisive path. I don't think it's like some uh, go back to the caves and homestead with no technology, because tool and technology, we've had this talk many times, not on this channel, but talked about what tools and technology are. They're they are the same thing. They're synonymous with each other. Or does it go into this world where everything is high tech, high technology? I think this is a good marriage between the two. But with that being said, because I have not been using my what I'm accustomed to, which would be my phone, using an Android, and it's pretty simple to make a video. Here, I've learned by using a PC different things I can do by using the Creator Studio. And whilst doing it, it's still like this apocalyptic zombie weirdness going on in the world where you all better stock up some food and water, that kind of thing. Like it's one direction you have cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, this kind of thing, trying to go cashless in society. But then you have people saying they're gonna just sack the banks or whatever, just end the no more cash, just everything is plastic. But then they're gonna shut down the grid, so no more the computers won't work and the phones won't work and the electricity won't work. So therefore your card won't work and your cryptocurrency will have no value. It will just get, and trading paper wasn't going to work anyways. So what's going to be left? That's when you say total anarchy, that's not really anarchy, and that's beyond chaos. That's beyond anarchy. Anarchy is not what you think, and chaos is a little crazy, but that would be something different. So would they do that, or would they do that small scale, little places for a little while? I mean, because they've already done it. I mean, I don't know where you've lived, but you could see it in Texas, where they shut off part of the grid. And could have been weather, could have been this, could have been that. I've lived places, you have a snowstorm, some power line drops. These things happen from a perhaps naturally occurring standpoint, but then there's other reasons things happen. Like, how long have you ever been without power? Have you ever lived in a cabin that didn't have any power to begin with? I mean, but just if they went across the board, was like, all right, shut all the grids down and nobody gets to use nothing. No communication via computer, no communication via phone, no electricity. How could they? How long could they do that for? And would they even maintain any semblance of a control afterwards? How long could they get away with that for? Because it would be a them, if there is an us them. I mean, that's the dialogue. Those that can click a button to turn all the power off for all the grids. How long could they do that to the entire structure of the realm that we live on? Before it was like afterwards, like they don't, even if they turn shit back on, it wouldn't matter, because people would have a whole different. They've already psychologically damaged and adjusted people to a degree that you can't even fathom. Most people are inside of that mental, call it a hijinks. I mean, think about kids growing up putting masks on every day. They're doing things to them socially, mentally, and physically. They're causing them a lot of harm to their brains. This is obvious to any, but if you've done that, you wouldn't know that's obvious. You know, if you grew up taking drugs, prescription or otherwise, you wouldn't know that it's not normal. I was listening to a nurse the other day who was talking about she's the only nurse in the hospital that isn't on any prescription drugs, and she's like, she's black sheep. Like she would tell doctors, and they're like, "You're not on any this or this or this." And she's like, "No, I don't take any drugs." And I just not only confused but like upset with her. Like she was not like she had a job there, but they expected her to take the drugs that they were, and they couldn't quite understand it. So while she was a nurse helping people, and perhaps some people need their aspirin, their Tylenol, their dose of morphine or whatever because they broke an arm or something, and these things are helpful. Again, as I've always said, there's a small number of pharmaceuticals and things which still can be found in nature, but quick dose of whatever to help someone that's in pain, sure, but most of it's just. Anyways, this nurse was just talking about how she's like one of the only people in the field of nursing or doctors that aren't on some sort of drug. So how can they see outside of their own bowl? How can they see the bigger picture of what's going on? How could they? So as people now, as we get back into what this is a parallel. The damage that's being done to people. Some people are actually becoming in the opposite. I'm going to tell you, there's always a balance. There's people that are becoming more aware of what's going on because of how insane it is. Like how I mean, I'm not even saying insane in a good way or bad way. I'm just saying how, like, put your quarter on, up and down and around. It's a circus. It's beyond a circus. It's a circus on a hot air balloon, whilst on all of the psychedelics. That's about what it is right now. While in the twilight zone. You know what I mean? That's how insane it is right now. And some people are going, "Oh, whoa! I didn't even see." Like, this has been going on for a long time. This whole world here. It's a little. So people and other people are going deeper and deeper into. Oh no! Give me the drugs. Give me the stuff. Put the mask on. And so that the whole putting a mask on a child. Okay, we had a problem with putting masks on children for Halloween because it was anti-Christian. Which I'm not going to do that talk here. The paganism, Christian, Halloween, holiday talk. We'll save that for maybe this weekend. But nonetheless, Halloween's no good because it's demonic spirits. But you can send your children to school every day if you still send them to school and have them put masks on, because it's something completely different. That's okay. That's a good idea, in fact. And it'd be wrong of you not to. And then they can put superheroes on their masks that they wear to school, but if they put a superhero on their mask to go out for Halloween, that's demonic. Whew. And that is literally the thoughts that go through people's heads right now. The mental. Who was it that said, "Give me a child and I'll just give you anything you want"? It was one of those, I don't know, IG Farben. I don't know. I have no problem with Germany or any of them. But pick one of the things. I don't really care. It's all a show to me. But I'm saying that it was a scientist that was like, "Hey, I can design." Yeah, Edward Bernays created an entire culture for women that they don't even understand. They don't understand why they wanted to vote. They don't even understand why they started smoking cigarettes and wanted freedom and started to vote and started working more. They never wanted jobs. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Who wants? Yeah, and so give me a child to design anything you want. Now what we have is a whole slew of people designing designing a culture for whose benefit? For what benefit? For the individuals or for the collective? So they're collective. But how do they know better? How do they know what's better for the individual than the individual knows? They were blessed with the. But here's the problem: all of those people that are designing the culture, I guarantee they're on some sort of. I mean, what are they? Are they sitting there meditating? Are they breathing in prana? Do they consume nothing but only the highest grade etheric substances? Perhaps only eat once in a while. Are they the ones, or is it the people that are eating poisoned meats and bottom lobsters and rich this and take the pills and get off on power and control, and this is how we must design and designing culture? What is a culture? Should we align our minds with Terence McKenna and say, culture is not your friend? What he was saying is the larger culture that's happening, not really going to be there for your benefit. Culture is what you make of it. Everybody makes cultures. You make small cultures. You have cultures in your body. We consume cultures all the time. Go eat some sauerkraut, go eat some yogurt, go. This culture is happening everywhere. Little ones and big ones and larger ones, but the large, he was talking about the large culture. It doesn't seem to be benefiting the vast number of humanity, the vast majority of humanity, nor animals for that matter. Culture would say factory farming is good. Culture would say veterinarians and dog food is good. Oh, really? No. Culture is okay with that. You'd have to take a step back and just go, all right, hey, I'm okay. You go, once in a while, there's when you get into the ecology and agriculture and how systems work to be nice quality homeostasis, organic, there's just something about it. If eating meat once in a while, it's probably part of what would happen. Most of your diet would come from locally sourced and da 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 da. But hey, we have airplanes, so go ahead and eat the exotic fruits and berries and things every once in a while. Sure. I mean, culture wouldn't change that much, but I mean, how far are we removed from that, from whatever our culture would be as I mean, how far spread is the culture of the diseased narcissists, to use a black mirror to prescribe, which means describe prior their idea of what a future should be for everyone else, which is in whose best interest, who and why interest. Why interest? You know what interest is you make money and then you put some on top. Why? There should be an equilibrium, a balance, and a homeostasis and harmony. I guess might be not a good word to some people. They'd say that means harm money. I don't know. It's an interesting one. Oh, here, give me 1 minute. I mean, nobody's here, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But if you are watching, just give me 1 moment. This will be my commercial break. Oh, where you can donate if you want. It helps me for as long as the monetary system exists. Help me out. It's in the description box. PayPal.me/TSAR capital XEN and Cash App $ capital TSAR capital XEN. There's a couple ways to get me cash, but it's a donation. Thank you. Appreciate it. Helps me do these videos and, help people. Help me help you. I'll talk to you in 1 minute. I think that was perhaps less than a minute. I was considering, if I drink, so I've had coffee, which I don't prefer, but I've recently been exploring the effects of coffee. Everybody's like, drinks coffee every day. Everybody drinks coffee every day. Don't you drink like 6 cups of coffee? I'm like, I don't really like a lot of coffee. Too much caffeine is not good. You know, like, ugh. Doesn't coffee? I never like that feeling. Uppers and shit. I don't know how people do it, but I get it. You gotta balance out people's levels. Left to right balance. We can go through the 4 major elements in the body. Well, elements would be the. We could get through the chemicals that are released by the brain. We could what things need to be balanced out for people. Body posture needs to be balanced. There's a lot of things that balances is balance. The balloons, the balloons of balance. Damien, what are you doing over here? Came here right at the perfect time. I just finished some coffee, cracked a beer. We were talking about balance. I don't know if we should talk about chemical brain balances, nutrient balances, physical balances, or just talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. Which I don't know, because what do I know? I've come to know that I know nothing, which would be oxymoronic. Because how could you know that you know nothing? Because if I know that I know nothing, then I know something. See that? Coffee and cinnamon. I didn't finish it, but I did coffee. I do coffee. Well, I do espresso. So, is it technically espresso? With chocolate. I do chocolate, and I didn't have any milk, so I used butter. So I did like a bulletproof with chocolate, and yeah. Well, man, I don't put me on the spot. You see, that's like if somebody asks you what you do, and you're a comedian, so you're a comedian, funny man. Tell me a joke. Like how do I? When people ask me what I do, I'm like, I guess I'm kind of smart or something. I teach people about shit. I don't know. What do you want to know? They're like, tell me something smart then, smart guy. I'm like, I got nothing. You like cinnamon? Cinnamon is, yeah, do cinnamon, nutmeg. Do you like nutmeg on coffee too? Do you do like a little foam? Cinnamon, nutmeg, because the aroma is really nice on top. Yeah. And maybe even a touch of aniseed or anise. Yeah, I like my coffee though. If I'm gonna do coffee, like just vanilla latte. So we cracking the PBRs in the morning as we were talking about balancing things out. So I don't necessarily prefer just to drink coffee because I don't drink a lot of coffee. Lately, I've drank way more coffee in the past 2 weeks. Yeah, nutmeg is nice if you like the aromatics, because neither of those, cinnamon and nutmeg, aren't going to get mixed well with the coffee unless you brew it with the coffee. You'd have to put the cinnamon nutmeg in with the brewing, or you sprinkle it on top and you get the aroma. Depends on what you're going for there. So anyway, so balance. I don't necessarily like uppers, so I don't drink a lot of coffee. But by drinking espresso, you get less caffeine out of it. Most people think there's more caffeine in the espresso. There's not. There's 2 reasons there's not. One is because the coffee beans are cooked more, so darker coffee has less caffeine. If you drink a light roast, way too much caffeine. For me, more caffeine if you like less roasting, more caffeine. And when you make an espresso, the time that it's in the water, the hot water, it's much less. So as you extract it, it's hotter pressured and it pulls out a different substance, makes a darker, stronger flavor, but you get less caffeine. And yeah, so you've already burnt off a lot of caffeine. So, anyways, I know that's why I like espresso. And then I balance out with a beer or wine. I would have drank wine, but I just don't feel. I don't feel like a wine, because if I drink a wine right now, that's a long day. I'll get tired and be like, so this is like what, 4%, so I can crack this and I'm good. If I drink a glass of wine right now, I probably won't accomplish anything today. I mean, I accomplished this, I guess. I had a couple of things I wanted to do. I was gonna do laundry and go outside. I just didn't want to deal with humans for another. I don't know. Just tired of dealing with humans. So the balancing act of the world. I was trying to do yesterday. I was trying to do a few videos on the skeletal structure, the human body, kinesiology, tendons, ligaments, musculature system, and for whatever reason, the computer just kept unlinking me. Like, it was like, oh, you are no longer connected to the internet, and I was like, oh, why is this happening? I did move my computer over there, so maybe that had something to do with it. So I figured I'd just sit here and talk, because it's more fun that way. I don't have to do anything. I just sit here. This is simple. So balancing things. I think the dilemma in assuming that we can balance anything is the idea that people think they can multitask. Here's a fact: no one can multitask anything. You can't multitask. Can you play the piano? That's not multitasking. You're just using two hands. Can you use two hands and 2 feet and play the drums? That's not multitasking. You're playing the drums. Anybody can do anything singularly. You can singularly use your body. I'm talking with my hands. I could play the drums and sing. You could do all sorts of things, but you can't multitask. Like, doing two things at once cannot be done. And so we try to balance things. We can't. You can either do this task or you can do that task. This is when I used to talk to people that they have jobs and they have a bunch of things to do, and then they become overwhelmed with, they have 6 projects going and they're trying to juggle the projects. I'm like, no, you can't juggle the projects. You take these 5 and you set them over here, and then you just do the one. Now, if your mind works a little differently, you might be able to go, all right, you're working on one project, and then you just, okay, we're going to switch this project for this one because I have an idea for this, and we put this over here. You haven't multitasked. You've just replaced the project that you're doing. So my mind, depending on what I'm doing, if I'm not very skilled at something, I'll just go, okay, put this here, and I'll put the rest of over here. If I got 6 things, not good at something, I just leave those 5 things here, and we'll work on this until I've exhausted it. If I'm good at something, what's up, Jeremiah G? So say I'm good at something like cooking. I'm good. I can work in the kitchen. I can only cut the meat. I can only cut the vegetables, but I can have on the back burner some rice going, and then this going, and then I got this, but I can only do one thing at a time. But so I'm in that way is like having a bunch of ideas going on in my head that I can still focus and pinpoint on one thing. Still, while everything else is going on, it's running like a background program. This is what chefs do. They have to have an innate timing to things. Is that even the innate correct word? They have to be able to go, okay, as I'm doing this, it takes me this long to do this, and that's going to be done in 5 minutes. This takes this long, and I'm going to have that's going over here, and this is going over here, and I got this plate coming over here. It seems like chaos, but if you've done it and that's what you're comfortable with, then that's how your mind works. Other things, I just go, we're working on this right now. This is all we got to do. So yeah, multitasking and balancing things, there's nothing to balance. You just do what you're doing when you're doing it. And if you're some people are really good at laser-like focus, and that takes them and zones them into something. Some people like to do this, and they're in here and they are focused precisely like laser, like sharks with laser beams on their foreheads. What's up, Super Champion? That's kind of focus that it puts you in a zone. It gets rid of the rest of the outside chatter of the world. Some people do it that way. Other people, there's a bunch of things going on and their zone is like that. Other people can't understand. They're like, this is utter chaos. Could you imagine trying to play basketball at a fast level, at a fast pace? You have to deal with the time, like how much time is on the shot clock. You have to deal with 9 other people in the court. You have to deal with everything that's going on, right? You have to deal with all of that simultaneously, but you can only do one thing. You have to deal with that ball, right? That would look like chaos to somebody that is so good at doing something singularly, like a single. Somebody solving a Rubik's Cube, it's singular. One person. Somebody doing tattoos, right? It's a singular thing that you're doing. That is laser-like focus. They're both focused, but for a person to go that plays basketball to go here tattoo, they're like, what? I can't do that. That's crazy. That would be chaos to them. But for somebody that tattoos, be like, all right, go play professional soccer. See if you can even. They'd be like, that's chaos. They'd be running around like they didn't know what they're doing. See, either way, the focus is what's important. The multitasking cannot exist. Multitasking doesn't exist. You do one thing singularly. If someone kicks the ball from the other side of the field, now as I'm preparing to receive the ball, I know where someone is, I know where someone's going to run, and I know where the goal is. And I'm making a decision as this is happening. Do I want to side volley this? Just take a crack at goal, or do I want to pull it down and then play a ball over? Who knows? But I'm doing that instantaneously. But I can only do one thing. The mind is doing this whole thing, and I just go, oh, we'll work on this. Like right now, think about the way that it seems. Despite my kind of erratic delivery, sometimes some people might not get. It's pretty calm, but my brain, I have 1,000 different directions I could go with what could be said, and it would all make sense. Maybe not to you, but to somebody. I can't speak singularly to anyone unless there's one person singularly sitting in front of me. If there's 100 people listening to me, what story could I tell that would weave that whole scenario together for someone to understand it? I couldn't. If this person's a plumber, this person writes books, this person's a neuroscience, this person's a drummer. What story could I tell that weave that all together so they all can cohesively comprehend the words that are coming out of my mouth? Well, this is interesting. There's a bunch of people over here. Thanks for coming over to this side of my channel, my other channel. And tell everybody, everybody on my other channel, feel free to comment in my comment section, hey, go sub to this too, just so I have 2 channels going. Because of what I'm going to do, probably, as long as this technology continues to be a resource, I'm probably going to split my channels up into maybe like 3 or 4 channels. So that way, if people want to find something directly on physical things, like here, I have all of these cool tools over here, and I'm going to show you about like massage and Reiki and pressure points and pressure point therapy. And here's some what you can do for opening up all of that stuff physically. And then I'll have a channel based on just neurotic, neuroscientific, philosophical, futuristic, that kind of nonsense. And then here's some babbling on about what's going on in the world today. I'll do those. I'll kind of split up my channels that way. I mean, I'll still have my standard channel where I just kind of mush them all together and go, what is wrong with that maniac? And like, nah, it's just sad. I just know a lot of things. I mean, back to I know a lot of things. I know that I know nothing. So whoever wasn't here before, remember to say that you know nothing. You can't say that. You've lied. Because if you know nothing, then how do you know that you know nothing? Because then you know something. See, it's a double bind. Yeah, Jeremiah. Oh, so I split up the channels that way. Yeah, the only dilemma in doing that The only dilemma is then I have to open up other like emails and shit. And it's just like a whole thing, and then I got this password for this thing and this thing and this thing, and I gotta click it. It's just like a whole. Oh, it's a. That's why if I had just somebody just sitting here going, let me take care of all of that and just organize it. I'll make the videos. I'll do all that. But for me to after this, I gotta go. Okay, what was the password of that thing? And how do I? Okay, then go over here and click on this, and then I go zoom. Okay, am I on the right thing? Is it okay? Then what's that to get to the? Let me figure this out. I don't. It's a headache. It's a headache. Even though I don't get headaches. I really don't. Funny enough, as a child, I used to get migraine headaches. Weird. When they used to stick me with, they jabbed me up with needles for allergies that I didn't have. I immediately got allergies and headaches and all sorts of ailments. I stopped doing that. I was like, ah. I stopped going to the doctor. I stopped doing all the prescription medicines. Kind of weird. Just became healthier, huh? Just make a morning out of it. What putting? You're just saying make a morning out of it, putting all the different emails and shit together. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. It's just it's I already have the chat. Just go there. Shouldn't that be easier? Like, wouldn't if you needed something, wouldn't you just go to the library? Do I have to be the library and the librarian and the you know what I mean? I need a librarian. Is what I need. That's what I need. Shit, actually, really, that would be dope. Chick that was a librarian, totally down with that. Horse pills. Good. Hey, you should be happy that it was your mom. You should be happy it was your mom giving you horse pills and not your uncle giving you a horse. Oh, that's took me 32 minutes to use any crude horse dong jokes. Yeah. Yeah, I guess perhaps I'll wake up in the morning and open up a few different. But here's the dilemma with that too. Like this account right now, I can only use this PC to do these videos. I can't use my phone. I can't go out there in public. I want to go outside, and I want the opportunity if I go outside to while I'm playing with the ducks and I'm inspired to say something. I want to make a video, but I can't. Yeah, you like that, Jeremiah? oh, it's nice out. It's almost 80. It's 80 today. Go outside, stay in here, talk to you. Go outside, stay in here, talk to you. If I go outside, I have 3 things to do. All of it involve interacting with the humans, which I don't want to do. I'm just not interested in talking. Like sometimes I fully, thoroughly enjoy interacting with the human species. Other times I'm just like, ugh, stay away. I don't have any. I don't have. I don't have time for this. I don't have the energy. I don't speak your language. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be way more weird than talking to the weirdo that you think's weird. It's gonna your brain's gonna go, ah, I don't like to do that. I don't want to have to do that to you. uh, and that's why bars are the best places, because you go in there and you immediately go, okay, I'm around people just like you go to bars. They're the best places because you're like, everybody's in here is like-minded. You can just interact. In public, you're kind of like, is this person even capable of? Should I? I don't. Hi. Eye contact, wave. How do we? It's not looking good in Texas tomorrow. Oh man, where are you going in Texas? It's really not like cold or rain or what? Let me see. I want to see what the weather is here. Let me see what the weather is looking like here. So today it is 79, but it feels like 81. And tomorrow it will be, oh shit, tomorrow's gonna be 79. Saturday it's gonna be 85. 85 on Saturday. Let's go. I love when people say let's go because they're just excited. But my question always is, where are we going? Because usually when people say let's go, they're not going anywhere. They're just kind of staying where they are. They're just excited. I don't. Maybe it's because whenever I did play sports, so you'd get a bucket or you'd score a goal or something, and people say let's go. I'm like, I didn't say that. It was just not my thing. I didn't. Just kind of relished in the. I just. Oh, Padre Island. Okay. Yeah, so I get 79, 79. Well, so I guess it'll be 80. So 80, 80, 85, 77. Then it kicks down to like 66. But then back up 75 and 81. I guess spring is sprung. Goodbye, Winter Wonderland. I've only been through Texas. I've never stayed in Texas. Well, actually, I did. I take that back. When I was much younger, I did stay in Texas for. I think it was Dallas too, for a week. But I don't really have a good recollection other than a couple things. But other than that, so what should we talk? What else? What else? What else do you want to get into here? You want to talk about the weather? Talk about the weather program. See, here's the dilemma with me in the public sector. It's not a dilemma. I don't believe it's a dilemma. People like to talk. They want to talk about the most mundane, nonsensical. How's it going? How's your day? Good. How about the weather? And when someone says, "How about the weather?" When somebody says to me, "How about the weather?" I'm like, "Oh, you mean the rain that modified from the? Did you ever see the? That's what I would do." And they'd be like, "Oh, you're one of those. Huh? You believe in all that goofy stuff." Or like, I didn't want to talk about that. Like, don't ask me about the weather. Don't ask me about how my day was. Just smile and nod and move on. Just give me a good, whatever. All that. That's good. But so you're gonna ask me about the weather. We gonna figure it out. How long you got? That's the thing is you have to take people that know something and confuse them. It's the best thing. And people that are confused, and you give them certainty. That is a balancing act, if anything. You take people that are very cautious, reserved, and I don't know, and you just make them go, everything's good. And somebody's like, oh, you're terrible. You go, I don't know, because that was some Adam Sandler shit, I think. I think because I watched Happy Gilmore yesterday. Oh, I had to watch Happy Gilmore because of balance. Because prior to that, I watched a documentary, which I highly suggest. If you can get past the first 30 seconds, have fun. It's a documentary about these two guys that walked through the entire Grand Canyon. Yeah. Yep. Walked the entire Grand Canyon. It's called, man, you can just look it up. I mean, I think it's on Disney. Like it's like a Discovery or Nat Geo or something. Like, anyways, so as I'm the first scene of it, I just go, oh, this is I think I'm gonna just clench my butt and like, no way this dude is doing this. I'm like, all right. As I'm watching, I'm like, he's got to be tied off. There's got to be a rope there. There's got to be something. And then as you watch the rest of it, like, no, he's just doing that with a camera, and I don't know. And then as they go through explaining it, they're talking about, like, people that have done the Appalachian Trail, or people that have done. I had a friend of mine that he had gotten a kayak and kayaked this is insane, the Mississippi. Yep, all the way from the beginning of it, which is just above Indiana, in whatever. It was right at the mouth of where the Mississippi starts. I mean, there's a couple other offshoots. One goes up to Canada, one goes over to Lake Michigan, but they're not called the Mississippi, right? Came all the way down to New Orleans, which, I think he continued on until ended, but I don't know. I think it just ended in New Orleans, which is ridiculous. I don't know how many thousand. I think 2,500 miles. That's a journey. And the Appalachian is something ridiculous mileage too. But both of those, there's not really, like, you could just do it. I mean, you could just go do it. Takes a long time. Possibility of death or failure, zero. Well, not zero, but it's pretty low. And there's a lot of people that have done both of those things. Not so much the Mississippi. That's probably done less than Appalachian. The Appalachian is done by a lot of people. The whole length of the Appalachian, that's just a long, long walk, right? But can be done if you like to. This right here, apparently only like a half dozen people have done it, and even less of, like, it's way shorter, but the insanity of it is next level. A friend of mine was asking me about this document. I just watched it yesterday. I was texting a friend of mine, and she goes, "Oh, do you remember? Do you remember my friend from Bloomington?" And I was like, "Yeah." She goes, the one that did the Appalachian and did the. I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's so funny." I was just chatting about him the other day. Funny enough. And she goes, "So the documentary you're watching, is it like that? Is it like?" I was like, "No. Doing the Appalachian or kayaking the Mississippi is equivalent to scrambling an egg if you've worked in a restaurant for 2 years. Walking the Grand Canyon, even though it's much shorter, is equivalent to making a five-star meal for the king of Persia with the lights off, having never cooked before in your life." That's about the equivalence. Now, am I being a bit dramatic? Certainly a bit dramatic, but that's watching it, I'm just like, I can't even understand the level of insanity. Yeah, I mean, just watch the first 30 seconds. If the first 30 seconds doesn't, I'm telling you, the first 30 seconds, there's no ropes, there's no lines. He's holding a camera, like, in front of him doing this. Like, what? Now, again, it could all be CGI. It could all be make believe. It could be all, if you put the camera angle this way, there could have been a rope, who knows, but looks pretty authentic. Dude's pretty popular. He's done some other documentaries. He's done some really great photographer, writer. Yeah, cool stuff. And it's the whole thing is butthole clenching, and there's also a good motivation and storyline to it about the Cherokee Nation, and these. It's not it's really not woven in there too hard. They're not making a huge tale of, oh, it's about the Navajos and the Cherokees and the that's Navajo, I think. I don't know. Sorry about the if I screwed up your Indian tribes, although whatever. They're all the same to me. We're all tribal, right? I think I'm Indian, as far as I know. Can't be sure about these things anymore. Anyway, so it wasn't just about pushing for this idea of like these people trying to drill for natural gases and make make industry and whatever. Although it was weaved in there just a little bit. It was very interesting listening to those parts too. And the reason I started watching this documentary was because I've always been curious about, okay, so the mud floods and the melted buildings and such. And why is the top of that like this? And why is that like that? And how people living in caves? Nobody was digging that out. That was there. So what's interesting about, and this is the information that I didn't know I didn't know I was looking for this, but it presented itself about an hour and 15 minutes in the movie. And I was gonna talk to John Levi about making a video about this because he's much better at that than me. There's a certain substance that you find there called uranium that you don't find anywhere else. It's there. You know what uranium is? You know they use uranium. It's radioactive, and there's a certain. It's used for a lot of different things. You can do things to make leather with it, but uranium's a pretty big deal. But it's found in high quantities there. So if we start to understand why the Native Americans live in those caves, those old buildings, that's the ancient cultures of the old buildings that were melted by radioactive material from some sort of blast or something that melted everything, tops off the buildings, melted down, and becomes these weird canyons that used to be streets or something. I mean, those are not natural rock formations, and the amount of uranium there, quite interesting. Now, would anybody else look at the documentary that way? No, that's the reason I started watching it, because I was so interested in why do those things remind me of every other so-called weird. It's like, look at this weird rock formation just in nowhere. I'm like, I think that was a skyscraper. I think that was a big building. You've seen these big rocks, and all of a sudden the top of it, it's just this perfect sort of temple thingy. It's like, how did that get built? Somebody walked up, climbed up, and was like, we'll just take one rock at a time and put it up on top of this thing and build this beautiful castle, even though off the side of the building you see this melting thing going on, as if it was already there and the whole thing got melted. How did it get melted? I have my my ideas on this, and it's very simple. I'll break it down for you. If we live on top of a computer motherboard, on top of the way a motherboard is built, is you have transistors, you have copper wires, you have all sorts of different things going on there. You have capacitors, you have things that heat up and cool down, and the temperatures and things that happen can melt things very quickly. Like electrical temperatures, you could melt things that you don't think you could melt, like not with fire. It's like plasma. It's like another level to plasma, electrical plasma discharge. If we live on top of a motherboard, and so this grid system that we can see going on everywhere, that could be just another grid system. Now, if one of the capacitors heated up too much, you could fry an entire part of the system. Did it happen on purpose or not? Who knows? I can't make that assessment. Make an assessment, Milky Leka. But it does seem like that's what happens. Even etherical substance that's a plasma, etheric thing that's around us. It's water-based plasma electrical system. Then you have ground magnetism that holds more energy. They can shoot energy up through materials. Some materials will be affected through the electromagnetic plasmic system, which is top of. You can look up anything of how cities used to be built, printed perhaps, and how computer systems, you could melt them. You could do all sorts of things. Like, just think of that on a grand scale. Is that what all of those? Is that what the Grand Canyon is? Was that the old ancient city, like the old, real old ancient city, that somehow the pyramids, which were called capacitors. Pyramids are capacitors. That's why I have capstones. Capstones are capacitors for collecting energy from the atmosphere. It's part of the system. It's part of what Tesla was talking about, even though I don't think Tesla existed. But that's a whole nother show. So yeah, the Grand Canyon's really interesting. Really, really interesting. So Jeremiah, you said Texas. Texas is Texas is where you get the word Aztec from. Rearrange that, which means the original people that came that kind of produced the language, the A to Z technology, Aztecs. So you had the different tribes that were, some were in charge of language, and some were in charge of how to structure society, some were in charge of building things, engineering things, and apparently the Aztecs were the language builders. Texas, Aztec, right there on the border. Interesting that would happen that way. What time is it? Ah, just past noon. Still a little foggy out. I don't know. What is it, Thursday? Wednesday or Thursday? Is it Thirsty Thursday? It is Thursday. Great. I'll have a beer with you. Still working on this. I'm just slugging through this. Okay, I mean, think about this. Computer systems are cooled oftentimes these days by water. So take a motherboard, put water on it. Okay, you put a motherboard beneath this, and you could put anything atop that as a cooling mechanism. You're only going to hear it here. There's only a few people that this is. I'm not saying this is my idea solely. It's come through a bunch of other people that I got bits and pieces from. You can cool. There's ways to cool radiant heat. A heat sink on a computer. Think about our car radiator, heat sink. Think about what Earth does. Think about what crystals do. Crystals are cooling. Or dirt has crystals in it. I mean, what do you think? What do you think the beach is? If the excuse me, sorry about the phlegmy phlegms right now. Phlegmy winks, phlegmy winks. You can cool. So you could cover that motherboard system up and have a system beneath that, the underworld perhaps, that is doing all sorts of things to energize that, and then we cool the system with earth, waters. Why in the middle of the United States is there a Great Salt Lake? What does the Salt Lake do? What does salt do? If you put salt into water, it immediately becomes a conductor of energetics. Can you drink that salt water? 1 second. I'm gonna just pause this. Well, no, fuck it. I don't care. Have that. Let me get that phlegm up. Phlegmy winks. Phlegmy winks. I know it's Lemmy winks, but oh no shit. I've never seen that, but yeah, that makes sense. Zion, the Olmecs. The Olmecs, yeah. The Olmecs were the powerful ones. I think they were the builders. I think the Olmecs were the builders. I'll try to find you the. I've talked about it before, and I gave everybody the documentary series. It's like trying to find it. It's where did I have that stored away? Which series was it? Anyways, I lost a choo-choo of thought there. Where was I before we got into the Mexican? And I was transitioning from one thought to another there. With the computer system. Oh yeah, in the middle you have the Salt Lake, right? That's right kind of in the middle of everything. Then you got Denver, which would be a big city. So that city was. So you got Denver. It's a big city with an underground base. So that's like the energetics of the mountains. What materials are they made of? And then you have the lake, which is salt, which can produce electrical pulses where humans drink distilled water, clean water, because our body is not supposed to have salt in it like that. Because that conductivity gets you connected to a system, good or bad. I mean, I'm not, I think once you clean your body up pretty good, you can add select salts to it and tap into certain frequencies and things. I think that's a good idea. And then like having the crystal grid and things. If your body is already, if you're already part of the divine matrix and your skeletal system already is a crystal, your blood is already crystalline. Like what else do you really need to do? That you drink the clean water. You cannot drink salt water. If you drink salt water, go drink a gallon of salt water. Tell me when you don't exist here anymore, because your kidneys will seize up and you'll die. Thus, salt is not salt in small bit of salt could be good. It has its purpose. Just like a small bit of anything could be good. But the large quantities of salt aren't used for that. It's used for something else. You don't eat you could eat dirt if you wanted, but would you just rather eat the food that grows out of it? You could eat sand if you wanted. You could eat sand. A baby will eat sand. But you know what happened? That'll help clean them out because it's crystals. And those crystals are not going to be able to be digested. They're just going to move right through them and clean them out. Salt is a salt. Yeah, it's a salting. Yeah, it's the crossing of yeah. You take a soul, SOL, and then you cross it with a T. You cross it. Does it embody you in something? Sure. Is it? Can it be used? I mean, think about it. Come through the womb. Come through them. Here, just go back all the way to right when you came out your mama's vagina. You can use it for certain purposes. Yes, it should usually be used for ritualistic, magical purposes, with to cast a circle or to be used in electrical systems. You could have an electrical system, but go back to the beginning with me. Come out the womb. Do you know what you don't get? You don't get salt. You get milk. Milk has fats, sugars, and those sugars, and they might call them proteins, but not proteins like you think. Proteins from protease, meaning original source. You're getting basically sugars and part of your immune system too, but fats and sugars. When does anybody start consuming salt? Not for a very long time. Why would you ever? What would be the purpose of it? Yeah, salt is it's a conductor of a specific type of element. You could also fry it out. You could burn it. Not that doesn't happen with fats and oils and sugars, but sugars are used as an energy. If you lived with no knowledge of anything, just the mother barely speak, just do it. Here's breast milk. What? Here's fruit. There's sugar. No salt. There are minerals and salts in there, but not salt the way that we think of it. Here's fruit. Here's milk. Pretty good. Oh, you got something. You did something. You got a boo boo. Well, what'd be easy to do? Here's a leaf. This leaf is put on the tongue. Bitter. Oh, it's making me numb. Numbs the tongue. Oh, well, let's numb that. So now we've figured out that the fruit is good. The milk is good. So the sweetness, the milk fats, still no salt. And then the leaves are good because there's medicinal properties in them. So we've accomplished that right there. What would be the next? What would be next? What point would be somebody like animal destroy? Because as a baby, remember, you didn't have teeth and you didn't have your ideas about you, and you grew these bones, and you never ate bones, you didn't eat meat, and you didn't. If you seen an animal, you wouldn't go up to it and gnaw it to death. You wouldn't want to kill it. You'd be like, oh, look at this thing. Look at this thing. So much fun. I want to play with this. This is hilarious. Look at this creature. Oh, it's so awesome. Yep. At what point do you go, kill that thing? Let's eat it. Who would do that? Now, do we live in a society and a culture where this is propagated as the right thing to do? Yes. How did we get there? And should animals ever be eaten? Such a small number, because the population would change. The natural homeostasis would take place. There wouldn't just be like an overabundance of deers that we need to go shoot to keep the deer population down. Because they're going to be running across the street, and we're running into them with our trucks, so they hurt us. So we just kill them to make sure they're not running across the streets. Oh, so we got to make it convenient so you can drive your truck around through the forest and not hit a deer to keep yourself safe while you're having a 12-pack with Billy Bob and the boys, and you got all your rifles in the back so you can keep you safe, just in case a Tina with your sixth born, is on the way, is expecting. You don't want anything to happen to them, right? What book was it? It was an author. It was Henry David Thoreau. You're talking about the book with that on the cover, that poem? You're talking about was it Thoreau that said a farmer's on his land all day. He's on his land working in the field all day long, and he's complaining about how could a man, because he's talking in front of us, how could a man ever survive on fruits and vegetation alone to build strong bones and muscle, all the while as an ox in his 2,000-pound sturdy body carries him sludging through the fields all day long, while built with muscle and bone of just vegetation. That one? You're talking about that book? That was on the cover, but I think that's Thoreau, Henry David Thoreau. I mean, he wrote Walden, but I don't think that's what you're looking for. Are you talking about the vegetarian? Are you talking about the Asian poem about who knows? You're not talking about that one. You're not talking about the good, bad, who knows. You're talking about the. I'll give you the. I'll read you the couple poems. Hold on 1 second. Perhaps you're referring to this. Yeah, Henry David Thoreau. One farmer says to me, "You cannot live on vegetable food solely, for it furnishes nothing to make muscle and bones with." And so he religiously devotes a part of his day to supplying his system with the flesh and raw materials of animal, talking all the while he walks behind his oxen, which, with vegetable-made muscle and bones, jerk him in his lumbering plow along in spite of every obstacle. And your boy Einstein said, it is my view that the vegetarian manner of living, by its purely physical effect on the human temperament and intellect, would be most beneficial influence to the lot of mankind. Leonardo da Vinci. I love those who can. Okay, whatever, Da Vinci. How about Tolstoy? You're like Leo Tolstoy? And they are the ideas of the future, of which some are already approaching realization and are obliging people to change their way of life and to struggle against the former ways. Such ideas in our world as those of freeing the slaves, of giving equality to women, and of ceasing the use of flesh food, and so on. I have from an early age abhorred the use of meat, and the time will come when men such as I will look upon the murder of animals as they now look upon the murder of men. I mean, do I agree fully with the murder? Yes, but the use of animal product, I'm fully. Yeah, you need animal product, and there are some times and places that meat will be eaten forever and ever. But who knows? What do I know? I mean, but you're talking about the book? The book is called The Pharmacist Desk Reference. This big thing right here? Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a huge book. Pharmacist Desk Reference by Don Tolman. That's the one that has those quotes on the front. But the book, I mean, there's lots of stories like that in here. Yeah, man, that book is super next level. Super next level shit. Oh, you got it? Oh, wicked, wicked, wicked. That's awesome. Glad you did. Not a lot of people got that, man. It's so funny. I bought years ago. I bought a bunch of these for people. One of them I gave to somebody that will never use it, and it probably will just get thrown in a garbage can, or just tossed into oblivion, which is really really frustrating because I got it for somebody that really needed it, and they probably never looked at the fucking thing. That was at the time it was still a lot of money. I'm like, here's a gift. I probably never even one page of it. I was like, damn, that could have gone to somebody that actually would use it. Although quite a few other people have copies of it. Oh well, say la vie, huh? So what's next on the agenda? What do you want to get deeper into the? You want to get into some architecture, some temple building? You want to get back into the? Yeah, if you show someone that exists, they go, what is? How is that happening? Yeah, and I love the way it's funny. Whenever I've read a couple of reviews on Amazon from it, and I wanted to like find the person that wrote the review and just strangle them by their face, just by their whole entire face. They're like 2 stars or 3 stars because the editing was poor. Like, did you read the book? Right at the beginning, he says, I'd like anybody that reads this, if the editing isn't done well, there's a couple mistypes or something. Like, if you read the whole thing, that's 1,400 pages. Of course, there's going to be. Read the whole thing. If it wasn't for all the terrible, I couldn't. They said. I was like, that's what you're gonna do? I was like, you didn't even read the book and you didn't even care about the information in it. Could you imagine if someone listened to me and they're like, hey, one time you stumbled on words, one time you got drunk, one time it was like this. Like, get the fuck over it. People are just, people find the easiest, just the most things to complain about. Like, that's what you're going to complain about? It's like if you, it's like you go out and have this beautiful day lined up and everything goes good, except for there's that one hitch in it. And they're like, that's the thing. That's the problem. Yeah. You have a wonderful dinner and all this good music and it's shiny and whatever. Did you get a stain on your dress? That's the person? Yeah. That's the person that you just go, and it's been fun. And just go ahead and go on with your life. Have somebody deal with the rest of your bullshit. Because that's bullshit. Could you imagine being in a wedding? You know, the weddings that the woman wants to, like, sure everything's perfect, and if something goes wrong during the wedding, she's like, "Oh, it's just chaos." Like, you know, that's who you just go. Can we get that divorce already? But you should have known that going into it. That's why you should never get married to begin with. But sometimes I wonder if people just set up, just have weddings just to get all the presents and have, like, hey, your parents, who pays for the wedding? The bride's parents pay, right? So the bride's parents are rich, but you get a wedding, everybody gives you presents. You just show up, you're like, oh, I gotta marry this for a bit, and you know the presents, and then people do that. I'm sure they do. I know for certain that still happens a lot. You know, it's called a dowry. It's not just biblical. It still happens. It still happens everywhere. It happens in a lot of cultures. I know people personally that would have gotten a lot of money earlier in life to have gotten married. and I was like, really? What is it worth? How many just to get married? Like, well, I mean, that's yours. I don't know. Split it, 50-50. Okay, sure, right. Who else just showed up here? So apparently, just me and Jeremiah talking. Everybody else in the background just going. What's what sound? What does the sound? Is that? It's like an emu. I don't know. Because sometimes it makes sounds. Just gotta try it. It's if you do it as an adult, it's there's something wrong with that person right there. There's something, they're crazy. But if you do it as a child, it's called finding your voice. You know what I'm talking about? When children make noises, it's look up child development. It's simple. Oh, they don't know how to talk. They don't know what they're saying. So children just go, oh, and they do all these weird noises. It would just, if an adult does though, you go, what the fuck is that doing? I've never go listen to Beardy Man. Beardy Man. He goes, I want to. I'm so intrigued by the range of sounds the human voice can make. And as an adult, he makes a lot of music and money, and he explores weird, strange sounds. And it's reserved for everyone can do it, but no one tries. Everybody goes, "This is the way you talk, and this is the way it will be, and this is what it shall be." And I don't even know if they could do that extra. I think they kind of. It's funny because my voice, for the most part, when I talk to someone, if I talk to you on a regular, like just like this, if we're sitting here and whatever's going on, I talk in a very monotone voice. There's no high pitches, there's no low pitches, there's just this. Just my tone is here. It's very singular. But if I'm being animated, it's all over the place. As a child, they do that. As an adult, people get very monotone with what they say. They might raise the volume. I just did pitch. I pitch shifted. I pitch shifted. I did not change the volume there. I don't want to get too loud. I still have neighbors. But hey, what's up, Dimension? They're not, yeah, big mouth noises. They're doing things with their and they do things with their entire face, which really changes the structure of your face. Uh, it laughter keeps your cheekbones nice and high and strong. Gets your forehead in order, gets your jaw healthy. And you know, doing things like as they're making noises, they do all of this stuff, and they're making different. There's different muscles. You understand? You have here. Just jump to the next level here. So we're going to 2 levels up right now. So you have what is called craniosacral massage, and you have these sutras right here. sutures. Well, I say sutras because it's like the Kami Sutras. Sutures is basically where your brain was not formed correctly as a child, because when you come through the birthing canal, it has to squish it and to get out, and then as it comes out, it goes back into the correct order, and then it starts to snap into place. Oh, snap into place. There you go. And as the child's making all these movements, it's pulling on tendons and ligaments and making muscles and putting their brain, because it's correcting their skull where it should be, and it's putting it in the proper order, and it's making their skull the way it should be just by making different faces. So people are just out there like kids that just sit there and go, oh, give them some drugs, and doesn't do anything. Their brain might be out of order, literally, because one of the part where the cranium was supposed to, like right there, didn't get put together, and you can actually snap it together. I mean, you do this on adults, even some adults, they've never had it done, because as children it was out of place. Just like little, if you crack your knuckle, probably don't have any right now. Get your spine adjusted, right? Sit up, position. You kind of get, okay, there you go. That's your skull too. I mean, once your skull is set in place, it's kind of there. And other things, little things like getting birthed correctly. If someone gets a C-section, you have to do certain things to the child, including infant massage and even chiropractor. By coming through the womb, it's doing something to the spine and to the skull, which won't happen, but you'd have to do it yourself after if you get a C-section. Same thing is if children don't breastfeed, they'll develop because there's something that happens with the chin, the jaw, and the tongue that forms their face, and allows them to speak certain sounds that without that sucking and pulling with their tongue and their cheeks and jaw rule, jobless. That their face doesn't form right. And in fact, you can even look up studies on this. The children that are not breastfed have, especially babies, boys. There's like a 70 to 80% chance that they'll have a speech impediment going into school. Where if they're not breastfed, if they are breastfed, like 10%. It's that wild of a difference. I don't know why it's different with girls. Maybe because they just don't want to tell little girls they got it, because they always doing this anyways. It's not a speech impediment. Yes, it is. I don't care. If you talk like that, I'm gonna backhand you. Get your mouth loose. So no, yeah, but even girls tend to be about, I think, 60% range if they're not breastfed, where boys are about 80%. Breastfed, no problems. Face structure changes, chin's different, jaw's different, everything's different. And not to mention all of the other things that go along with the immune system, with the mother's milk, with the proper hormones, enzymes, et cetera, that go into building a healthy human baby body. Peace out, Jeremiah. Cheers. And tell everybody, if you're going on my other videos, tell them to come over here too, because I told you I'm gonna try to do some more channels. We'll just divide it up. We'll divide my weirdness up, so people are like, oh, it's that weird guy. And I get that. I'm that weird guy too. Like, what? You're like you have 7 personalities? No, just watch that other channel. Oh, there it is, all in one. Hey. Holy hot balls of shit. There's 8 people in here now. That's crazy. I didn't think that many people even knew this channel existed. Thanks for showing up. You've missed a really delightful show so far. I would suggest to most people, if you are so enticed and you don't know who the motherfucker I am, feel free to visit my other channel, that is Zen Atman. That's my other channel. Or go back to the beginning of this video and watch this, because it was fun. And we'll continue on here. If you ask me a question in the chat section where I can actually chat because I'm using a computer rather than my phone to do these things, which is crazy because I don't usually use this thing. Woot woot. Woot woot. Look at that. See, I can't do that on my Android, but I can do it on here. So you guys are also, if you want to, type. But I'm assuming everybody here in the room probably already knows me from my other channel. I don't know. So we're making a. I'm getting people to come over here just for a little bit, and then we'll go back over there. Then we'll come over here, and then we'll like a. And then I'll open up a couple other channels, and we'll devote it to specific things. Maybe I'll teach people how to dress properly. Seriously, like a suit and tie, kind of how to walk properly. We could get into the Epicurious things. You say Epicurious. We get into the very peculiar things that like the kind of like, how do you know about that? Like how to properly light a cigar while blindfolded with your left hand and juggling a Rubik's cube. I mean, can I do that? No, I can't. I could do part of that. I mean, not at the same time though. Yeah, should probably get my fix up the. It's summer season, so just shorts and a t-shirt time. Guys, ready for summer? Is everybody ready for summer? I don't know where you all live, but I'm excited. Should I open this window, or do you want lights or window? Lights or window? Do either right now. I guess it'll be window. It's window time. It's almost 80 out right now, and it's still overcast. It says it's not raining today. But I'm not gonna walk outside and do all this. See, I got 2 places to go, and they're walks in both different directions. And one of it includes getting my clothes done. It's going doing some laundry, but I don't want to walk back if it's going to rain. Clothes, and it gets all rainy on my clothes, and then I got to take them back and get them. It's still cold. how's the beer bin, man? How's the beer dumpster doing? That's so awesome. Cold weather, free beer. Cold weather. I don't know. I would say I'd still take warm weather over free beer. And see, I as much as I like beer, even if it was free, I'd still have to take hot weather. Sorry about your Florida overcast, man. It was yesterday. Funny, it was supposed to rain yesterday, and it only rained at the end of the day. All day was sunny. Today it's supposed to be 80. It's supposed to be sunny. When it's 80, it is 80, but it's overcast. I mean, it's still a nice shine, but it's kind of moist. I can barely see the city from here, which is weird. Hold on a second. Open up a window. Beautiful outside right now. Oh wait, oh yeah, it's Natty Light. Oh, that's garbage. But you know what? You know what's good though? And just because I just finished, oh, you know what? Because are you still drinking it though? You still drinking it? If you're still drinking it, I'll crack one with you because I have something better. I have some. It is Natty. It is, but it's different. I'll show you what it is. I'll grab one. This check this mother out. It's a Natty Light seltzer. Now, why is this amazing? A, because it actually is. I don't really, you know, everybody drinks the White Claw or whatever. A Bush Ice. Well, yeah. Yeah, Bush Ice. I mean, that's what, almost 6%. These are dope. Check these out. Because they taste better than the other seltzers. Way better. And they're 6%. So they have as much bang as an ice beer. They taste way better. And it was only $10 for a 12-pack. And I was like, because normally if you get a 12-pack of any of these, they're almost $20. You've seen these? Bro, I'm telling you. I had no idea. It's fantastic. This is the one that I looked up the reviews on it afterwards. And all the reviews are like, I had no idea. They're like, Natural Light sucks, but these things are better than all of the other, you know, the seltzers today. Everybody's at their fancy parties. Everybody's like, the seltzer thingy. Nah, man, this is the one that nobody likes. I like it. It's a little sweeter, but 6%, good to go. So if I get a 12-pack of these for $10, $10.99, a 6-pack, I'm good. You know, I can't do 6% beer. I can't do a 12-pack of 6% beer. I can do a 12-pack of PBRs, which are like what, 4.3. I get through that. I can do the math on it. What's 4 times 12? 48%. So we call it 48. And these are 6%, so 6 on 6, 36. Okay, so I'm gonna get like 8 of these. Still gonna have 4 left over in the morning for $10. For $11. That's fair. And that's a fair trade. And the upgrade too, they're delicious. And also, it tastes really good when they're nice and cold. Dude, yeah, Super Champ, dude, you're not gonna be disappointed. The only thing you might find, but it's in every seltzer, is that the sugar has that kind of saccharin, just a little bit saccharin chemical quality, but it's not a lot. It's just I mean, I guess maybe for me, because I'm not used to the seltzer. Maybe it's just the limey seltzer happening, the lime seltzer kind of thing. Other than that, no, these things are dope. I don't usually like the other ones. I've had all sorts of different kinds, you know. It's like the fancy thing to do on Sundays. You'd have like some margaritas, and then like the chicks want to go, let's just drink these all day. And they're by 3 o'clock, it's like, oh. So what's up, Divine Hazel? Hey, look at this, coming over to my other channel. Thanks for showing up. So what I just was informed of, if somehow the world doesn't turn into a zombie apocalypse, and everybody I don't know what they're gonna do this summer with all the bullshit, but if everybody takes the lead of, say, Florida and Texas and stops listening to these idiots on the boob tube, and if New Orleans comes back to full force, what I noticed was they're already gearing up. They didn't do this for anything else. They canceled shit. They did the opposite of cancel shit. And I'm going to show you something. Check this shit out. I want to show you. I think this has got to be the bestest thing ever. Oh my gosh. I want to show you something. Okay. Should I just read? Okay, so here's the year at a glance. So right now, the only thing that's happening is a literary festival. Normally, so if I look at my phone, it's just list of scroll through, and every week there's things going on everywhere. And there's festivals out in the streets. Things are happening. Okay. And once you get into June, things that would normally not be open are open. So June's got some cool things going on. Hogs for the Cause, a wine festival. Essence. They're actually selling tickets for Essence Fest, which is huge. they're not going to just sell tickets and just cancel it again. They've already canceled Mardi Gras. They can't do that to Essence. That's going to be no good. Then then we got the 4th of July stuff. Okay, then there's this. Then it skips. We get through August, and then there's Sachimo, the beignet fest. So starting in September and getting into October, the end of September into October we get the French Quarter Fest, which is free. It's the best festival in the world. It's free. You can just walk around. There's stages everywhere, and that's in the beginning of October. And then the Jazz Fest, Jazz and Heritage Fest, is also in October. Just after that, the Jazz and Heritage Festival, which is normally not. And then right after that, you have Buku, which is in the 29th, which would norm. And then you have the Voodoo Fest, which is on Halloween. So you literally have, in the course of the month of September and October, like six huge festivals that they're all selling tickets for, which they canceled everything else. Up in there, they're just like, all right, well, even last year they were like not selling tickets for nothing. I don't think they're gonna make them, just refund everybody's money, because I think they got last year they didn't make no money, so they're like, yo, you have to let this go on this year. And these are all outdoor public events of running through the streets and being insane. So there it is. So I'm excited. So like right now, you know what today is? The Tennessee Williams Literary Festival. Should I go to this today? Are people going to be doing stuff or what? What do they do? Oh, it's a theater. Okay, it's theater, culture, work of Tennessee Williams. A writer's retreat. Books, beignets. Okay. I don't know if everything's going to be online because that's good. Whatever. Okay. Back to the regularly scheduled natural light program. Seltzers. Wow, it's crazy. Like everybody figured you found your way over here. You're like, what happened? What was Zen doing? If anybody didn't know, my other channel got a BS strike against for saying something about medical something. I don't know. So I won't say anything about that anymore. Just that's already taken care of. Everybody else can do it. If people haven't figured it out, I got nothing to say about it no more. Even though I didn't. So whatever. It's like you cannot make videos for a week. I was like, Jesus. So now it forced me indoors to use this thing and learn how to use PC a little bit. Ooh, and I'm not really into PC. You get the joke there. Political correctness, PC culture. Still not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, Captain. I've used Apples. I've used PCs. I've never used Linux. I'm familiar with like the little bit of. I mean, I get how it works. C++, Linux, though. If you want to really get into hardware, I like push button stuff like Apple, but then not enough ability to do. And PC is just way too goofy. I don't even know how that shit works. I'm good with Android. Android. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. I've only had a. Oh yeah. Well, good thing that I'm fine. Good thing that I don't speak any of that. I just speak random nonsense. I make non sequiturs anywhere possible, and I've learned the things that you cannot speak of. There's certain words you just cannot say because the algorithms will just no matter what. So I just don't say those, which I've done a pretty good job of for a very long time. I might have just said whatever, move on, and moving forward. Moving forward, What should we deal with next? Should I should I color this? Dude, should I oh, what do you guys think? I have an idea. Should I make this blonde? Or should I go full on blonde and then color it in? Like blonde with streaks of red or something? Should I do something goofy with my beard? Because you have to realize now that summer is here, my tan is going to come in really strong. So it's not going to be like I'm white. Even though if I went white with red or blonde beard, it's still going to be fine. But I'll have a good tan, which will work with just about anything. My skin tone will work with really good. And if it looks stupid, I can always paint it black again. I mean, if I paint it, just recolor it. What do you think? Should I? That's the question I'm going to pose to everyone here, and I'll do it on the. Should I turn this all blonde? That would be hilarious, right? And you'd be like, I'm like, that's actually my hair color. This is just what I look like. Would that be goofy? I mean, because at this point, I mean, we're living in a whole like you realize like if you were to design your if you got an Xbox where you design your characters, you know, I mean, that's you got your major. But if you played a video game, you could design your character, or say like your people use different names for it. But would that be pretty fresh? Would anybody be like, dude, don't do it, or would you be like, fuck it? Because I mean, at this point, like, well, why not? Right? Could be cool. I could do it right now. I could do it right at this moment. I got hydrogen peroxide, food grade. I've got butter. What do I do to get it in there? It'd just be basically I need like a. I mean, a lot of people use bleach, but bleach will screw up your hair. You don't want that. But hydrogen peroxide will still take the color out, right? I've done hydrogen peroxide in someone's hair before. It took me. They had dark hair, and it took me a couple goes to get it to blonde, to platinum. But I forgot what I did. I think it was just basically a butter and the peroxide. And you really even if like when I did his head, it didn't. You can't like bleach will burn your skull. Like you don't want that. You don't bleach yourself. But you can hydrogen peroxide, and it just kind of gives your skin this really weird whitish that goes right away. So anybody on this coloring my beard? Are you just not saying anything because it's stupid? I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm going to. Or how about just the tips? Should just a tip drill on it? Just try it out. Just put a little bit on it right there and find out. I don't know. See, now we're down to 2 people. Nobody wanted to hear about me coloring my. Nobody wanted to answer. Fine. Nobody's gonna say anything. I get it. You don't want to influence me to do something that you don't agree with. You can just say no. I think that's stupid. I'd be like, dude, I want to see that. That'd be hilarious. Anybody? Feel free to jump in here with any. However, I'm not going to do anything with this here. I like this. This is fine. I like the color because I get good highlights in it anyways. Once the sun comes out, I see I already have blacks, browns. I get a couple streaks of red. Yeah, don't worry about the couple grays that I got. But yeah, this and I get blonde tips, but this kind of just stays black. Yeah, bleach my beard. There you go. So I'm not doing anything there. This during the summer, just being with the sun, and I might put a little hydrogen in it, or if I could just go to a pool, get some, because there's bleach in the pool, or even at the ocean. My hair will become a little. I'll still have dark roots, and then it will go all the way out to red, then to brown, and then blonde tips. That happens when I'm at the beach, just in the summer in general. But this always stays black. But what if I just went blonde, platinum blonde with this? Or went blonde with it and then did some weird red in it. Right? And by bleach, I'm not putting bleach, I'm gonna use hydrogen peroxide. Because hydrogen peroxide is not gonna damage my hair. Bleach would damage your hair. And it also would do things to that you don't want. But it eat away at your brain, man. That's the brain eating stuff. Go full blonde with all this. I'm not doing my hair though. Not gonna happen. That would look stupid until I get a tan. If I got a tan and went blonde and blonde, I'm good with that. But then I gotta stay getting a lot of sunshine, like every day. I could do that towards the summer, perhaps. But I like my hair. I like the color of all this. I can change back to black if I want. Full blonde, this right here. Okie dokie. So I'll look up a recipe right now. Maybe I'll do this. On my next show, I'll go get the ingredients together for this. I just got to figure out how to do this. How to bleach hair with hydrogen peroxide, because I've done it before. Okay, well I'm going to do that too. But I'm going to, what you do is you color first and then you trim. And the only reason I haven't trimmed my mustache or my beard is because I don't really care. I don't have anyone to go and impress. I can't go out to a club. I can't go to and be like, hey, what's up, lady? Doesn't matter. There's nothing. This is either you like me or you don't. I don't have to impress anyone. And even at that, I mean, I don't. My trimmer also. Here's another little. The other reason I haven't trimmed anything is my trimmer ran out of charge, and I don't know where my charger is. So my dollars versus like buying a charger and going through like finding what charger is right and like spending the delivery charge and go. That's like money I don't want to waste on that. I'd rather buy some Natty Light seltzers or ordering a new one. Like it's just not it's not on top of my list. I mean, you'd see me with short. You see me with a beard down to here and no mustache. It's not. I look good either way. Doesn't bother me. Okay, I'm looking this up right now though. How to make hair. Let's see. Okay, got it. And maybe I'll do the next show, and I'll do it right on camera, and I'll do a whole show. How to bleach your hair with hydrogen peroxide. Start with healthy hair. Gather your supplies. This is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous idea. I'm gonna use a wiki how to do this. A wiki how. Okay, start with healthy hair. Okay, got that. Don't need all that. Gather your supply. Okay, no. No, you shouldn't condition your hair. See, this is all wrong. This is the same. Impulsively bleaching my hair at 2 a.m. with hydrogen peroxide. I remember doing this for somebody, and it turned out well. Let's see. I'm gonna have to watch a video on this. A whole video. Whoa, lemon juice? Ammonia? Okay, so aged urine, hydrogen peroxide, and lemon juice. And then add soap paste to make it thick. All right, we'll see. All right, I got the idea. I've done this before. I've done it actually more than once for people. I just forgot what recipe I used. Okay, cool. We've established that. Oh, that's gonna be weird. That's gonna be weird at first. Are you guys gonna be okay with this? Because it's easy. I can always go back to. I can always go back to this. This is not a problem. We can always go back to black. This is. Anybody else want to weigh in on this? Okay, so far, Super Champion said go full blonde with it. Divine just said trim it. She didn't actually say bleach it, but I'm assuming she's saying bleach with hydrogen peroxide and trim. I like how we can go through talking about ancient hieroglyphs and architecture and the most abstract, esoteric things to me throwing hydrogen peroxide into my beard. I like that. I think that's really neat. So ammonia, when I gotta have to look into that. Like, what's the use of ammonia? See, now I got to do the chemistry thing on it. Like, why is it telling me to put ammonia in it? Because I've never used the ammonia plus before. Any chemists in here? Like full on chemist? Like I'm an alchemist. I can do things with pulses of herbs and things, but you know, between like well, what's actually in there, alkaloids versus the alkalinic versus the two very specific chemicals. There's ways like so a citric acid plus an ammonia. That seems to be. Am I wrong here in assuming that seems to be kind of like the pH is like so acid citric acid is going to be acidic and ammonia is going to be the opposite. So why would I put lemon juice in with ammonia? It doesn't seem to be a good idea. See, now I'm going to have to do more research or just make it the way that I remember it. Okay, so check it out, everybody. Here's what I'm going to do. I did gather all my piss from yesterday because I was going to do I want to do a liquid fast today, or fast where it's what's 111. Look at that, 111. Let's go. I gathered all my piss yesterday so I could shove it up my butthole by doing an enema, and I will use some ammonia in there. By ammonia, I mean some aged urine, just a little bit. But I need to do a cleanse anyways, so I'll be doing that. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to read up on how to properly make this blonde. Could be fun. And then I'll come back on here later, and you guys can join me, and I'll do it here live on camera. And let everybody else know on my other channel, come over here, sub to this, so that way I can do lives from my phone rather than just from here. Because it'd be much easier for me to do this from my phone in the kitchen or the bathroom than to do it on my couch. I don't want to be dripping ammonia all over this awesome couch. Anyways, come back and join me a little later. I don't know exactly what time, but we'll see. If the sun comes out, I'm going to go accomplish these couple wash my clothes tasks and something else, but it does not appear as that's going to happen. So I'm going to clean my butt out. Maybe we'll do teach people about fasting. I would show you how to do it. I would show you how to do it. But I can't bring the computer in there because every time I move the computer, it's like, it doesn't connect to the internet. I don't know if it does the but okay. I'm going to go do that stuff, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining. Anybody that's new here, you know how to subscribe and like if you like. If you don't like, you don't have to like it. And also, you can donate to me. There's a Cash App and a PayPal beneath. There's also other ways to do that if you go to my other channel, and because you'll find that information more directly influences your magical realms. Go to the beginning videos, and it'll say beneath Cash App, PayPal, and then a couple other ways to find me currency. One with Venmo, and some Bitcoin shit, which I don't suggest using because I don't really how to get that out. I don't know. It's a whole confluency of weirdness. But Super Champion, good to see you. Divine, good to see you. Dimension, everybody else. Stay cool, get drunk, inspire people, stay sober, don't inspire people, fart in a can and smell it. I don't know. Do whatever you do, but I'll be back on here a little later. Tell people to subscribe here so I can get my channel to at least 1,000 over here. That way I can do live videos from this thing rather than just this thing. Okay, bye. Bye.